We're now joined by Democratic gubernatorial candidate, Greenwich resident. As we all know, he was on the Board of Selectmen. He founded Lamont Digital Systems, put in low-cost cable systems at colleges. He's a great-grandson to the man that was partner of J.P. Morgan. He went to Exeter, which we're not going to hold against him because I went to Choate. He's a graduate of Harvard. We're, of course, talking about Ned Lamont. Ned, how are you?
Hey, Jim. Nice to hear you again.
Thanks for being on. So let's put this in perspective. 30 years ago, we were a top 5 state, and all the key metrics were now a bottom 5 state. A lot of folks leaving the state, some people saying the last guy out turned the lights out. Why do you want the job, and how are you going to fix it?
Everybody's trying to have a nice cup of coffee first thing in the morning, and you're depressing them. It's a failure of leadership. It's a failure of political leadership. It's the Hartford political class, over 30 years, bipartisan. They've let us down. They didn't invest in transportation. Just hearing your transportation study what's going on. All of a sudden, it takes longer to take a train into New York. It takes longer to train or car up to New Haven and Hartford. GE leaves. What do they say? Taxes? No. Transportation. 2, we didn't invest in education. Our best trained workforce in the world is no longer our great strategic advantage. We have fewer people working in Connecticut today than when you and I first moved to town, at least 30, 40 years ago. And I think you need somebody from the outside, somebody who's not part of the Hartford political class, somebody who's got a different background, and that's why I'm running for governor, to make the big changes you need on the revenue and on the expense side to get an honestly balanced budget that starts investing in our future again.
Okay, before we get to the revenue side, let's talk about the expense side. We've got these unfunded liabilities. As you know, I looked up $103 billion unfunded pension and health care combined, most underfunded in the nation. Obviously, we can't fix these problems without really tackling that. You're a Democrat. You think you're going to be able to do that?
I think only I will be able to do it. Some Republican will just declare war. It'll be like Illinois, and everything will grind to a halt. I'm going to work collaboratively with labor. I support collective bargaining. The word bargaining is part of that. But you got to remember one thing, Jim. And this is something that a lot of Republicans don't quite appreciate. It's not the fault of the state employees. They worked under a contract. They honored their commitment. Mm-hmm. And the fact that governors from both sides of the aisle didn't put a dime into the pension fund for the last 40 years, and they said, we're going to leave it to somebody else to pick up that obligation. And it's even worse than that. Those governors years ago convinced teachers, you don't even need Social Security because your pension in 2018 is going to be so rich you won't need it. So this is who you're negotiating with, folks who honored a contract, who say, why blame me? It's not my fault. They didn't set aside any money for the pensions. That said, we are going to negotiate going forward so we get something more supportable in the long term that allows us to slowly dig out from under this mountain of debt.
All righty. Talking about bringing stuff into the state, going the right direction with business, I understand you were instrumental in getting 1,000 jobs into Hartford through Infosys. Tell us about that.
Infosys was going to locate a major IT training center, probably in Northern Virginia or the Research Triangle, the usual suspects. And through a mutual friend, I reached out to Ravi Kumar, the head of Infosys. He said, Connecticut, are you crazy? They're bankrupt. And I said, no, Connecticut had one of the great workforces in the world. We have some amazing anchor tenants, the insurance industry, advanced manufacturing, and we have to retrain our workforce. And we got Infosys to come up to Hartford. The business community was great. They lined up, and they said, if you come to Hartford Infosys, we're going to work with you. We're going to hire your IT-trained contractors. And the press doesn't get it. They think it's like a computer company with 1,000 jobs. No, they are going to train 500 plus folks every year. Folks from the University of Hartford and the CCSU is IT specialists. That's what keeps insurance in Hartford, and that's what brings new companies to Hartford because they have the IT skill set now.
Now, on the revenue side of things, everybody down here is always saying tax, tax, tax. What are your plans to boost that and electronic tolls?
Well, I hate taxes. I pay the taxes. I'd say two things. One, The gasoline tax no longer raises the revenues to fix the Miamis Bridge, and we remember what happened there, to deal with our transportation. It's a diminishing resource for some positive reasons, Tesla, fuel efficiency. So if nobody has a better alternative of how we can put the money in to fix our roads and bridges, more frequent train service, not less frequent train service, buses, so people can get to work easily. And I think electronic tolls will be part of our future. What Greenwich should understand is it's illegal to have it at the borders. The electronic tolling is going to have to be more widely dispersed around the state. That's the federal regulation. It'll be more like congestion pricing. But at the end of the day, and there are no toll booths. It's all electronic, just like you do at the Mass Pike. Mass Pike raises $750 million a year, and they got it up in a year. So, like it or not, it's part of our future. That money will go to transportation.
Okay, finally, our inner cities here, Bridgeport, Waterbury, Hartford, obviously they need to be rejuvenated. We need better education there. We need to create opportunity. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, it's not more bailouts for Hartford and our other cities. It's things like Infosys, where we start growing the grand list in these cities. It is transportation, so it gets easier access to get from New Haven to Stamford. That's what's so key for our young people. They want to have mass, transportation development right next to our mass hubs. Their young people can get back there. Businesses want to be in the major centers. And the great failure that we've had is we haven't rejuvenated our cities. Because of that, we suffer.
All right, we've been talking with Ned Lamont. He's a Greenwich resident and a Democratic candidate for the governorship of Connecticut. Ned, thanks a lot for your time.
Jim, it's great to talk to you again. I hope I see you soon.
Good. Thank you, sir.
Attention small business owners. Growing your business can be tough. Just when you thought you were making money, you found out that you owe the government money. And now that you owe the IRS their cut of your business profits, you may be broke. And if you don't take things seriously, you could go to jail or have your business shut down. But you do have an option. If the IRS is threatening you for unpaid taxes, call the Tax Resources Network. Their tax professionals and ex-IRS agents have over 23 years of experience dealing with the IRS, saving business owners and the self-employed millions in tax dollars. Let us negotiate with the IRS on your behalf. We may be able to reduce your tax debt for a lot less than you owe, help with the IRS audit, and even criminal investigations. If your business owes the IRS $15,000 or more and the IRS is threatening you, don't wait and let your business get shut down or worse. Call for a free consultation. Call 800-910-4980. 800-910-4980. That's 800-910-4980. Again, 800-910-4980.